All right. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're in the same scene. The solar eclipse. Where are we? Where's the solar eclipse? Kurukshetra. The residents of Vrindavan have finally met the residents of Dwarka after a long time. This section, Krishna meets the gopis. As far as the gopis of Vrindavan were concerned, from the very beginning of their lives, they did not know anything beyond Krishna. Krishna and Balaram were their life and soul. Because Krishna has his gopis, Balaram has a different set of gopis. He also has. Balaram also does Rasa Leela with those gopis. And Krishna does Rasa Leela with his gopis. Krishna and Balaram were their life and soul. The gopis were so attached to Krishna, they could not even tolerate not seeing him momentarily when their eyelids blinked and impeded their vision. They condemned Lord Brahma, the creator, because he foolishly made eyelids which blinked and checked their seeing Krishna. This proves how Krishna is all attractive. That for that split second, when the eyelids blink, that interrupts the gopis seeing Krishna. That means all attractive. Because they had been separated from Krishna for so many years, the gopis, having come along with Nanda and Yashoda, felt intense ecstasy upon seeing Krishna. No one can even imagine how eager the gopis were to see Krishna once again. As soon as Krishna became visible, they took him inside their hearts, through their eyes, and embraced him to their full satisfaction. Even though they were embracing Krishna only mentally, they became so ecstatic and overwhelmed with joy that for the time being, they completely forgot themselves. Their ecstatic trance, simply by mentally embracing Krishna, is impossible to achieve even for great yogis constantly engaged in meditation. Krishna could understand that the gopis were wrapped in ecstasy by embracing him in their minds. How does Krishna know? He's in their hearts. That's how he knows. And since he is present in everyone's heart, he reciprocated the embracing from within. As we learn from Bhagavad Gita, those of you who know Bhagavad Gita, as you surrender, Krishna what? Reciprocates. Krishna was sitting with Yashoda and other mothers, Devaki and Rohini. But when the mothers engaged in talking, Krishna took the opportunity and went to a secluded place to meet the gopis. As soon as Krishna approached the gopis, Krishna smiled, and after embracing them and inquiring about their welfare, Krishna began to encourage them. So, please repeat. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So this is Krishna, God, speaking to his topmost devotees, the gopis. So try to hear now. Kamlesh ji, he has his realization. Turn off the cell phones so that you can be in rapt attention on the katha. Am I right, Kamlesh? I'm going to give you some time to preach also. at the end, okay? Would you like that? Yes, I know you will. My dear friends, you know that Lord Balaram and I left Vrindavan just to please our relatives and family members. Thus, we were long engaged in fighting with our enemies, and were obliged to forget you, who were so much attached to me in love and affection. I can understand that I have been ungrateful to you, but still I know that you are faithful to me. So that is love. Krishna says, I have been ungrateful to you, but you, gopis, are faithful to me. That is love. There is a Vedic mantra. What is the definition of pure love? When there is sufficient cause for the dissolution of a relationship, and still the relationship does not dissolve, that's pure love, as in the case of the gopis. May I inquire if you have been thinking of us, although we had to leave you behind? My dear gopis, do you now dislike remembering me, considering me to have been ungrateful to you? Do you take my misbehavior with you very seriously? After all, you should know that it was not my intention to leave you. Our separation was ordained by Providence, who, after all, is the supreme controller and does as he desires. Here Krishna's being funny because he's Providence. He is actually the reason why everything is going on. But he's joking with the gopis, referring to as if Providence is something other than him. It's very funny. Providence causes the intermingling of different persons and again disperses them as he desires. Sometimes we see a strong wind will mingle together clouds, atomic particles of dust, or broken pieces of cotton. And after the strong wind subsides, all the clouds, particles of dust, and pieces of cotton are again separated, scattered in different places. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the creator of everything. The objects we see are different manifestations of his energy. By his supreme will, we are sometimes united and sometimes separated. We can therefore conclude that ultimately we are absolutely dependent on his will. Fortunately, you have developed loving affection for me, which is the only way to achieve the transcendental position of association with me. This is a very important point. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita at least 3 times. You want to see me? Bhakti. You want to understand me? Bhakti. You want to come to me? Bhakti. That is the only thing. When we say bhakti, ultimately we mean love, love of God. So Krishna is saying, you have developed loving affection for me. This is the only way. So first point, most people are not even interested in God. That's the first thing. The number of people who are actually interested in God, Bhagavad Gita explains this. Manushyanam sahasresyu kasyajatati siddhaye. Out of thousands among men, maybe one is interested in self-realization. And of those who have achieved self-realization, hardly one knows Krishna in truth. And to know Krishna in truth, same thing, love. You have to love Krishna. Then you can understand. Any living entity who develops such unalloyed devotional affection for me certainly at the end goes back home, back to Godhead. So this was Lord Chaitanya's main teaching. Love of God is in everyone's heart, but it's dormant, it's sleeping. But it can be awakened. How is it awakened? It is awakened by the process of hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, worshiping, preaching, all the 9 different full surrender, the 9 processes. That is how that dormant love of God is awakened. Just like me, I have not come from a Hindu family. I have come from a Malecha Yavana family. How is it that I trying to develop love of Krishna? Because I have accepted the process. Just like you're becoming a doctor, correct? Right? So, you have to follow a process. You can't just say, I'm a doctor, come pay me money. No, you have to get certified, am I correct? Right? So to get that certification, lots of money has to be spent to go to school. Am I right? Too much money. Then you have to do so many years residency and this, that. Am I correct? Yeah, just like me. When I joined the temple back in 73, there was a process. Clean the floors, cut the vegetables. Now go out for chanting. Now do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. I didn't get initiation cheap. I had to, just like you, you're going to have to do so many things to become a doctor. Right? After so many years, you'll be certified. Dr. Dalal. Right? No, you will, because I'm blessing you. You want to be doctor, right? Come. I'm going to bless you right now that you become doctor. May you become good devotee doctor. Hare Krishna. Jai. So the same way, there's a process. There's a process how to develop love of God. That is the question. One time, somebody asked my guru, Srila Prabhupada, can you show me God? I will believe in God if you show me God. Prabhupada's answer was, are you prepared to undergo the necessary process by which God is revealed? That they're not willing to do. Not everybody who goes to medical school comes out a doctor. Because after so many, same way with lawyers. We have any lawyers in the house? Any lawyers? So many kids go to law school. Not all of them become lawyers because it's tough. It's tough. So, this process, realizing God, you have to be able to pay the price. The price is laulyam. Everybody say. Intense greed to achieve it. That's the price. Intense greed to achieve it. Even nowadays, you will hear how these big super athletes, Tom Brady, LeBron James, they do so many interviews. What separates them from all the others? Because so many people have talent. That's not the question. But what separates these super ones from all the others? It is their dedication. Their dedication. They go that extra mile. They're dedicated to their craft. So the same way, you want to realize God, it's not a cheap process. It's not that you go on your cell phone. Okay, God, show. No, it's not cheap. You have to pay the price. Price is intense greed. My best friend, Krishna Kumar, he has his business. If he wants to be successful, he has to be dedicated. Am I right, Krishna Kumar? You have to be dedicated. You have to get up. You have to chant. Again, go to office, work hard. He says sometimes he sleeps there, right? At least that's what you told me. Huh? That's called dedication. When you're dedicated, then you will get success. You are dedicated to distributing these books, right? Every weekend, instead of being with your wife, what are you doing? You're out. I guess your wives are sometimes mad at you. Why they don't spend time with me? Just like my wife. Every weekend you're with the Indian people. You like the Indian people more than your own family. I said, yes. That is true. Dedication. That is what the real thing is. Remember that. Dedication. So when it gets tough in doctor school there, when you have to do your resident, it's going to get tough. Remember what Narendra Das said. Be determined. Get fired. And if you need, you can call me. I'll fire you up. If you start to, like, I don't know, you give me a call any day, I'll get you fired up. I will preach to you. I will get you fired up. We got a deal? And there's no charge. It's a family blessing. My dear Gopi friends, you may know from me, it is only my energies which are acting everywhere. Take, for example, an earthen pot. It is nothing but a combination of earth, water, air, fire, and sky. It is always of the same physical composites, whether in its beginning, during its existence, or after annihilation. When it is created, the earthen pot is made of earth, water, fire, air, and sky. Whether it remains is the same in composition. And when it is broken and annihilated, its different ingredients are conserved in different parts of the material energy. Einstein was familiar with the Vedas. So look what Krishna is saying. This is Einstein's theory. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Even the great Einstein got his knowledge from your Vedas. But who reads? Who reads? That is the question. Similarly, at the creation of this cosmic manifestation, during its maintenance and after its dissolution, everything is but a different manifestation of my energy. And because the energy is not separate from me, it is to be concluded that I am existing in everything. This is the same thing that's spoken in Bhagavad Gita chapter 9. Krishna says the same thing. So whether you read Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, same knowledge is there. Krishna is saying, everything is my energies. In the same way, the body of a living being is nothing but a composition of those 5 elements. Although the living entity embodied in the material condition is also part and parcel of me. So even the soul is energy of Krishna. It's not that the soul is separate. The Atma, the soul, is also part and parcel of Krishna. The body, the ingredients of the body, comes from Krishna. The soul comes from Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna. On account of his false conception of oneself as the supreme enjoyer, the living entity is imprisoned in material condition. This false ego of the living entity is the cause of imprisonment in material existence. So false ego means I'm not part and parcel of Krishna. I can do whatever I want. I am God. I am the enjoyer. That's false ego. Real ego, I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am, just like my hand is meant to serve me, The soul is meant to serve Krishna. As the Supreme Absolute Truth, I am transcendental to the living entity. This is Krishna speaking to the gopis. I am transcendental to the living entity, as well as to the living entity's material embodiment. The two energies, material and spiritual, both act under my supreme control. Same thing in Bhagavad Gita. In a couple of places, Krishna says the same thing. All the energies under my control, Krishna says. My dear gopis, I request that instead of being afflicted, you try to accept everything with a philosophical attitude. I have spoken at so many funerals, and this is what helps a person being able to go through that difficult time when you lose a family member. If you have transcendental knowledge, and if you can see things with a philosophical attitude, then you can get above the lamentation. It is to be accepted. You lose a loved one, you're going to feel pain. But as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Natvam sochitam arhasi. You do not deserve to lament. You cannot fake that. Just like you've heard this. Somebody's angry, right? Somebody's getting angry. If you say, don't be angry, what happens? He gets more angry. So, when somebody's lamenting, if you tell them, stop crying, what happens? They cry more. Right? You can't fake it. You have to have transcendental knowledge. You have to see things in a philosophical attitude. That's why we read Bhagavad Gita every day. Am I right? Every day. So that you have, so don't just study your doctor books. Do you have your own Bhagavad Gita? Oh. Okay, you boys, he has to have his own Bhagavad. You have to read Bhagavad Gita every day. Okay, you'll do that for me? Let's give him a big Haribol. I'm fired up tonight. Then you will understand that you are always with me and that there is no cause of lamentation in our being separated from one another. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.